Hi, and welcome to this week's Torah. In this week's Torah, Pashas Chukas, we read about a battle that ensued between Moshe Rabbeinu and the Jewish people and a giant by the name of Og. And when Moshe Rabbeinu was preparing for that battle with Og, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends him the following message. Al tira oso, don't be afraid of him, Kiviyotcha nasati oso ves amo ves arzo, because I will give you him and his land and his entire nation. Don't worry about this battle. And Rashi points out, and Rashi asks the question, why was Moshe Rabbeinu afraid? Why was he worried about Og more than he was worried about any other battle that he would have had? And he points to the following Midrash. The Midrash says that when Avraham Avinu gets the message that his nephew Lot had been captured, the man who actually brought the message is referred to as Hapalit. That Palit, the Midrash describes, actually was Og. Og, who was now the king of Bashan, who was fighting against Moshe Rabbeinu, was the man that informed Avraham Avinu of the fact that his nephew had been captured and helped Avraham Avinu recapture his nephew by giving him this piece of information. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu looked back at that episode and said, you know what? Og has a very great reward due to him. Og has a big schus, he has a big merit. And therefore I need to be careful to make sure that I pray properly and have to worry. Maybe something's going to happen. The thing that's interesting about this is to consider that Moshe Rabbeinu was the leader of the Jewish people. If Moshe Rabbeinu wouldn't be successful, who would be successful? And the fact is, he's afraid of Og, who's not really done the biggest mitzvah in the book. This would probably not even make it to anybody's lowest level of mitzvahs. Nobody would look at this mitzvah of Og going and telling Avraham Avinu for his own selfish purposes that his nephew had been captured. That's not a massive mitzvah, and yet Moshe Rabbeinu is very afraid. So much so that he needs reassurance from Hashem. Don't worry, you'll be okay. So what can we understand and what can we learn from here? And I think the message in that is very important. Is that we are not God's accountant. We don't have a spreadsheet. And we don't have a value system that we can look at and we can say, oh, this is worth X. This is worth a lot less. This is worth even less. And therefore we look at Og and we say, Og did the following action. That's not worth a lot. That God probably doesn't really care about that. Moshe did a lot of things. He must have done amazing things. Moshe Rabbeinu must be worth so much. Og must be worth so little. The bottom line is we don't really have the right to assign any values and numbers to mitzvahs or to decide on God's behalf whom God loves, who God looks up to, and whom God hates, and who God denigrates. We just don't know. And so Moshe Rabbeinu teaches us here, he says, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to be. Maybe Og has this great reward that's due to him for this mitzvah that he did, and therefore I will lose. But you're Moshe Rabbeinu, it doesn't matter. Because it's just because I'm Moshe Rabbeinu and he's Og doesn't mean that God views me as this unbelievable thing and him as this terrible thing. We just don't have a right to judge other people. We don't know what other people are going through. We don't know other people's trials and their tribulations. And we don't know the positives or the negatives that they do. We really don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And so therefore, next time when you look at somebody else and you might think to yourself, oh, I know who this person is. He's not a nice person. Oh, I know this person is wonderful. If you have that feeling about somebody that is wonderful, maybe hold on to it. But if you have that terrible feeling about somebody else, remember Moshe Rabbeinu says, I can't judge anybody else. I don't know who is or who isn't important in God's books. And neither should we feel ourselves higher or greater than anybody else to understand or to give value to people, to understand he is great and he is not great. God has his own value system. God looks at every person and thinks everybody is special, and so should we. Wishing you all a very good Shabbos.